Hi, this is Rebecca Silvestri, VP of Sales and Marketing with Local Profile Magazine. This is Local Leaders interview series with incredible local leaders who are doing amazing things. Today I'm chatting with James Craig. He's the president broker of Craig International, probably most well known locally at least for Craig Ranch, which is in McKinney. James, hi, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. How are you doing today, Rebecca?
I'm doing amazing, thank you. So real quick, can you give us an overview of Craig Ranch for anyone who might not be familiar with the project?
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, Craig International, which is a family-owned and operated company that was started by my father and my grandfather, David Craig being my father, and my grandfather, who I was named after, James Tolliver Craig, or Colonel James Tolliver Craig, I should say, Jr. I'm the third. They skipped my dad for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, they started it over 41 years ago here in Collin County. And back in 99, 2000, we acquired, or I should say they acquired, because I was just getting out of high school, but they acquired the first 1,100 acres, which eventually became 20 master plan community located in the city of McKinney at 121, Sam Rayburn Tollway 121 and Stacy Road, in between Stacy Road and Custer. So actually the very southern east corner of McKinney. You can't get any further south west of McKinney because a lot of people don't know this, but the crossroads of Collin County are Custer and 121. So it's the only place in the Metroplex where four cities can come together at one intersection, being McKinney, Frisco, Plano, and Allen. So anyway, 2,200 acre master plan community. At the time, it was referred to as new urbanism, which was very new at that point in time. Now, everything has some sort of new urban spin on it, that whole work, live, play environment. At the time, though, everyone kind of thought they were a little crazy for talking about high density in the suburbs. But 20 years later, we like to joke that we're overnight success 20 years later. So that's essentially it. It is truly a community where you can work, live, and play all in the same environment. And we have every sort of housing type that you can think of, from estate lots all the way down to residential detached zero-line product, townhomes, urban residential, and everything in between, as well as the TPC Craig Ranch Golf Course, the Craig Ranch Fitness Center and Spa, the Michael Johnson's Performance Center, and it's actually also home to the McKinney Corporate Center, Craig Ranch, which is, a lot of people don't know this, but it's the official corporate center of the city of McKinney. And so we worked that out with the city about 10 years ago. And in return, the city provided some additional infrastructure in the very beginning of the corporate center. And I think it paid off in dividends with the, our very first corporate relocation was Independent Bank. And they built their 6-story Class A, beautiful building, first 6-story building in McKinney, first Class A building in McKinney. And so at this point in time, we're fully, we sold ourselves out of a job. So Craig Ranch is pretty much, everything is built out or spoken for already. And my client, I'm the president of the brokerage division. the development division is responsible for the development of Craig Ranch. So I take no credit for that. I was, like I said, in high school when it first started. But as the head of the brokerage division, my client out of Southern California purchased the remaining acreage in the McKinney Corporate Center, Craig Ranch. And so that's our main focus right now, or one of our main focuses is bringing more jobs and more corporate relocations to the city of McKinney and to Collin County as a whole. So
wow.
It's a little bit of a long-winded explanation, but it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to wrap up all that information in a shorter period.
Absolutely. So McKinney Corporate Center, that being your current focus, you had a recent announcement of another corporate headquarters opening up there. Which one was that?
Yeah, that was RPMX Construction, and RPMX is another homegrown business that there are one of the top and one of the very best construction companies in the Metroplex. I'm sure you see their sign, bulldozers and such. They're one of the largest construction companies in the area, and by construction I mean not necessarily vertical construction, actually building the buildings, but more of the excavation work and all of the horizontal construction that takes place before the building is built. So they were pretty dead set on going to Frisco, and they had already purchased a piece of property in Frisco, but their CEO, Barry Rich, who's a dear friend and a great guy, him and his partners were awesome to work with. We said, why don't you at least look at what we have to offer here in Craig Ranch. Mr. Rich happens to live here in Craig Ranch, so we showed him everything that the corporate center had to offer, with Hub 121 almost completely done, and all the other amenities in Craig Ranch. And so between that and the city of McKinney, we've got to give a lot of the kudos to them for making it happen. They were very competitive in their incentive package to RPMX, and at the end of the day, McKinney got the win. So we're extremely excited to have them. They're going to build a 3-story Class A building. It'll be 90,000 square feet, and they should break ground here within the next, I would say, 4 to 6 months at the latest.
Wow, that is exciting.
Absolutely.
So another, I guess it's a misconception that I think people think that District 121, the new mixed-use development, is part of Craig Ranch, but it actually isn't. It's just outside. Can you tell me a bit about District 121 as to how that relates to Craig International?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're correct. District 121 is a new development. We have not even began construction on that, but it is adjacent to Craig Ranch on all sides. It was never a part of Craig Ranch in the early days. My father and his partners, they tried to acquire it because it's a wonderful piece of property. It's an awesome location, and it's quite frankly one of our western portals into Craig Ranch. But it wasn't available. It wasn't on the market. We weren't able to acquire it. And as the partnership of Craig Ranch was wrapped up, it was just perfect timing. It became available. And so Craig International partnered up with the actual landowner that owns that piece of property. It's 18 acres in total. It's located off the northeast hard corner of Alma and 121, and and it'll be, another awesome addition to the city of McKinney. I think especially along the 121 corridor as it relates to McKinney, we are in desperate need of eateries and drinkeries. You've got a whole population of residents from Stonebridge to El Dorado to all over McKinney, quite frankly, that have to drive, past our locations in order to get to, whether it's Granite Park or whether it's Frisco Station or the Star or Legacy West. So we believe that it's something the city really needs, and everyone's super excited about it. But it will be another mixed-use development, no residential, but we have plenty of residential in extremely close proximity. And so the exciting thing about that is, which was already announced, is Kaizen Development Partners, which Kaizen, another, top-notch company to work with. They're amazing guys. Derek Evers and his partners over there have been wonderful to work with. So we give all the credit to Derek and his team at Kaizen, and just as importantly, if not even maybe a little more so, the city of McKinney for partnering up with Kaizen Development Partners to bring not only the first 8-story office building to the city of McKinney, but also the first pure spec office building to McKinney, which if you're not probably in the industry, you probably don't know necessarily, how important that is, but it's extremely important as you talk about job growth and job creation, because you have these small to mid-sized companies that come to the McKinney EDC, the McKinney Economic Development Corporation, and they want to move to McKinney, but they don't necessarily want or need to build their own building, and they don't want to wait the 12 to 24 months that it would take to construct a building. They need 10,000 feet or 20,000 feet or 40,000 square feet. A lot of those opportunities because of our sister cities that had spec office space available, ready to move in today. And so the fact that Kaizen saw that opportunity there and saw that this was kind of an untapped market, and we're willing to move forward and take that step, speaks volumes about them, and it speaks volumes about the city of McKinney, and once again, their willingness to be competitive and do whatever it takes to bring that, that growth and that employment to the city.
Where do you see all of these projects taking the city of McKinney?
Where do I see them taking the city of McKinney?
So, Plano is very built out. It's has its own identity. Frisco is the same. What's the future of McKinney look like as a result of all these different developments?
Well, you know what? It's great that you asked that question, because, I really think, maybe I'm the eternal optimist, but I really believe that the sky's the limit for the city of McKinney. If you look on a map, the geographical boundaries, the geographical center of McKinney is 75 and Highway 380. So most people don't know that. Where we are located in Craig Ranch is, like I said earlier, the most southern western edge. And so there's such an amount of untapped opportunity north of town that I think, the future is extremely bright, because as you mentioned, Plano's fully built out, or pretty much fully built out. Frisco's not far behind. McKinney, on the other hand, has twice the land mass twice the land mass of Plano and Frisco combined.
Wow.
So McKinney is huge. And I see what I see now is when we started Craig Ranch, or when our company started Craig Ranch, 121 was kind of like the edge. You know, there was lots of residential development north of 121, but that was kind of as far as anyone was willing to go. And now, all of a sudden, 20 years later, and I know, 20 years might seem like a long time, but from a commercial development standpoint, it's really not. You have to also take in mind that there's a little thing called the Great Recession that occurred in between then and now. Now 380 is that edge. So all of a sudden, we've become infield. Craig Ranch has in a short period of time. And so as it's happened, and historically, you've seen over the years, the growth has continued to move north. And I believe that the growth will continue to move north. And so that's going to open up lots of opportunities for the city of McKinney. We're already at 200,000 people. When I was growing up, I'm one of the few people here that isn't a transplant from somewhere else. And don't get me wrong, I love all you transplants. Keep on coming. But when I was growing up, we were 60, 70,000 people. So to see that amount of growth consistently year in and year out, and not just McKinney, but Collin County as a whole, is remarkable. And it just goes to show that we have everything people are looking for, whether that's, really it comes down to quality of life. You want your children to grow up in good neighborhoods and go to good schools, and you don't want, or quite frankly, you can't afford to spend a fortune in order to make that happen. And so that's the appeal to McKinney and Collin County and North Texas as a whole.
Wow, it's going to be quite the future. I can't believe that McKinney is that big. How did I not know that?
Well, a lot of people don't. You kind of get north of 380, and if you drive a mile or two further, all of a sudden it feels like you're in the country. But that's, when I was growing up, the land in Craig Ranch, there may or may not have been some field parties out here in the country that I may or may not have heard of through the grapevine at that point in time in high school. So back then, this was kind of the country.
Right.
This was when my dad and his partners acquired the first 1,100 acres. 121 was a 2-lane asphalt road, and now it's the Sam Rayburn Tollway. So now you can get to DFW Airport somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes. So that's another box that corporate America needs to check when they are looking for their new home or their new location.
Right. Well, we got to almost wrap up, but I have one last exciting thing that we didn't talk about yet, and of course that is a very exciting golf tournament coming. Oh, there it is, AT&T Byron Nelson.
Absolutely, and sorry that we didn't have more time to talk about it, but I can't say enough. I mean, it's exciting, it's remarkable, it's a dream come true for everyone who's been involved in this development over the years. The Salesmanship Club and the Momentous Institute are, I mean, if you don't know about the Salesmanship Club and you don't know about the Momentous Institute and the wonderful stuff that they do, please look them up and get involved, volunteer. They're an amazing group, and they do an amazing job for an amazing, but that's estimated at about $35 to $40 million annually. to the city in sales and in revenue just in that 1 week tournament. The important thing I think to know is that in its entire history, it has never been outside of Dallas County. And so the Salesmanship Club, I believe, has about 3 members that live in Collin County, and the rest live in Dallas and Tarrant County. So the fact that they chose McKinney as their home for the future, they felt like this area was not only viable, well, of course it's going to be viable in the future, but it's viable today. And it's a 5-year contract with a 5-year term to extend. We're already over 60% sold out as far as sponsorship and suites and all the different kinds of hospitality that's available. And we just took it to market, a couple months ago officially.
Right.
So it's just a great feather, another wonderful feather in the cap for the city of McKinney.
Well, congratulations. You've done so much, and I'm so excited for that tournament and for everything else that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for everyone watching at home or in your offices. Next week, we'll be back at 11:30 on Facebook Live. Please remember, if you haven't already, to register for our Women in Business Summit on October 23rd. We will have one-on-one speed networking, so if you're going crazy, wishing you could meet people, join us for the speed networking. We have incredible female speakers and panelists, and it is a duck in, duck out format, so you can join us when it suits your schedule. Register at localprofile.com/WIB2020. Look forward to seeing you, and bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me.